Hello, this is Matt Montgomery, Burris Sales Agronomist. You know, the winter of 2013-2014 was pretty rough. It's been a while since we stumbled into a winter quite like the one we're wrapping up. That's led many to speculate, at the very least, that this rough winter must have killed lots of insects. Well, today we want to address that question. We want to ask and answer, did the winter have an impact or did it not have an impact? Now, this is not a new topic for Burris. As a matter of fact, one of the first Burris Agronomy U sessions recorded last year dealt with exactly the same question. In that case, the winter was rather mild, and many assumed that would mean more insects. When we discussed that topic in 2013, we noted that of the many row crop insect pests, where the insect tends to spend the winter matters, because a mild winter does not immediately translate into increased insect pressure. We talked about corn pests, and we said that perhaps, just perhaps, the mild winter of 2013 might translate into increased first-generation corn borer pressure, because they overwinter above ground in stalk residue. However, we noted that winter of 2012-2013 probably didn't mean much for things like cutworms because they overwinter down south. It's the winter along the Gulf Coast that matters in that case. We talked about grubs and rootworms, stressing that they're nestled in the soil during the winter, once again indicating that a mild winter really equals no impact. Now, beans were much the same story. Yes, we thought there might be some increased risk of bean leaf beetle injury because they overwinter above ground. A mild winter would knock fewer of them out, and the earliest planted bean fields might be at risk. But we predicted everything else was protected enough and influenced by the conditions in season enough that the winter really was not going to be that big a player. We even addressed this topic in the Burris Buzz, noting that a mild winter probably would do nothing to insect pressure. We did, though, note that a very hard winter might, just might, kill overwintering insects. It might do enough to reduce damage the following season. So my question, and I think the question that many have, is this. Was this it? Was this the one that was hard enough to kill those insects that overwinter in Illinois? Was this the winter that was hard enough to clear early season pests from our list of concerns going into 2014? Many consultants have been rather specific, stating that they think this will be the one to pull back rootworm pressure, for instance, in 2014. Well, let's clear that up now by giving our answer briefly. Burris honestly does not believe that this winter will cause a significant reduction in overwintering insect pests. Let's plead our case. This slide provides the 40-year history for winter temperatures. It takes the average temperature for December, usually something around 30, adds it to the average January temperature, usually again around 30, and adds it to the average temperature for February, something a little plus or minus 30 again. When that sum totals better than 90, the winter's been pretty warm, and you can see that 90, better than 90 actually, has been the trend for a while now. We've actually seen a warming trend over the past 40 years. The black line provides that trend for much of Illinois and Missouri. There are also two blue lines on the screen. The top blue line is about where Missouri ended up the winter for 2014. The bottom line is about where the majority of Illinois ended up for winter temperatures. I want you to notice that this last winter was really, really cold. We were below the black trend line, but we were also lower than almost every other dot, every other winter on this page. The only winters that beat us were the winters of 76-77, 77-78, 78-79, and the winter of 81-82. The only one to come close to us over the last 15 years was the winter of 2000-2001. Cold, but not quite as cold as this one was. Now, when you see that, when you see how cold this winter was, one of the coldest over the last 40 years, you are tempted to say insects have to be hit hard by our frosty conditions. However, temperature is only one part of the equation. It's a player, but it is not the only player. In fact, I would argue that temperature is not the most significant player in winter insect survival. This slide gives us the other, I think perhaps the most important component of the winter survival equation. It provides us with the snowfall totals. The black line on the page is the average total winter snowfall in much of Illinois and Missouri over the last 40 years. The dots on the red line represent the actual snowfall totals for specific years. Once again, I want you to notice that 2013-2014 also held another title. It was on the top 10 list for total snowfall over the last 40 years. Much of the Burris footprint ended that period with something equal to or better than 30 inches of snow. That means that the Burris footprint is only beat by 1973-1974, 1976-1977, the winter of 1981-1982, and the winter of 2010-2011. Simply put, we had lots of snow. I also would like you to remember something else. Remember that 2000 got close to the lows we experienced this year? Well, 2000 fell far short of where we did this year from a snowfall standpoint. My point is this: yes, it was cold, very cold, as cold as we have seen it for a while, but we also had plenty of insulating snow cover, and I'm betting on the snow cover. There's actually a pretty good body of literature stating that snow cover can buffer the soil from insect-lethal temperatures, even extreme lows. But let's make this a little simple. Instead of quoting journal articles by chapter and verse, let's just look back in history. Think about 2000-2001 again. That winter was nearly as cold as we were this year, but it had little insulation, very little insulating snow cover. In other words, if any winter in recent history was going to kill insects, 2000-2001 should have been it. But we saw large populations of above-ground overwintering insects in some cases that year. We even noticed grubs, grape calaspis, and other ground-dwelling pests that season. And in June, the University of Illinois started talking about some significant rootworm injury. So in 2000-2001, we had cold temperatures, we had little insulation from snow, and we still had plenty of insects. So if 2013-2014 was kind of a repeat of 2000-2001, but with more snow, and if 2000-2001 did not ward off insects, we really don't have any reason to hope that overwintering insects really will be hit hard this season. Okay, but Matt, we had some back-to-back intense periods, intense sub-zero periods that occurred back-to-back. That will surely be enough of a sustained sting to kill, right? Well, let's think about this using wheat as our indicator. Wheat can get hit pretty hard if temperatures are sub-zero for an extended period of time. That happened in 1996 following the winter of 95-96. We surely had similar conditions, right? And that means that could translate into reduced insect pressure, right? Well, I really don't think that's the case. Here's a graph of daily averages in 95-96. Notice the sustained low trough that occurs about 3/4 of the way through the graph. Now let's look at 2013-2014. That trough is absent in 2013-2014. Yes, we had some intense sub-zero conditions. Yes, those conditions might be enough to kill wheat and insects if they occurred back-to-back, but that really did not happen in 2013-2014. We did not have periods of intense lows that match 95-96, and I again do not think we can make the argument that insects will be reduced. So there you have it. We really do not believe at Burris that insect populations will be lessened due to the winter. Other things may impact insects in season, reducing the impact or increasing their impact. But the winter is not going to be the ultimate culprit. Thanks for watching. Good luck going into planting, and stay tuned for more in-depth agronomic analysis at Burris Agronomy U.